Rabbi Hershoff.
Rabbi Hershoff is still there? Okay.
Well, I think he left when the yeshiva closed that year in 2011. I think it was. Rabbi Friedman was there.
Yossi Friedman?
Yeah.
Nice.
There's also a student, Yossi Friedman, there.
Okay.
Who would pretend to be.
I see.
Yeah. He'd introduce himself to guests as Yossi Friedman and just confuse them.
Well, look. The way I just want to list. I want to post. Are you in the? What do you call it? The WhatsApp group?
I am not anymore. I know that. I had a period where I just left a bunch of groups.
Yeah, it's like too much data coming in at the time.
Yeah.
Join us live now. Okay, that's not done. Hello. Cannot hear. If you're there, we cannot hear you, sir.
So what brings you to Har Choma? Ma Kesher.
Ma Kesher leShmita what do you call it? Har Sinai. I came to yeshiva in 2000. Rabbi Monsik, how are you?
Hi, Ron. How are you?
Yeah, your sphere beard is looking amazing.
Yeah, a little flower got stuck on it.
I'll go. I was telling Yaakov about how I came to live in Har Choma. So like I got married at the end of the second year yeshiva, and I was living in Kiryat Moshe, but like the one affordable places in Jerusalem has been Har Choma, certainly at the time. So we made the leap at that time.
Okay, there. You happy there?
Me, Allah Baruch Hashem. It's a wonderful community. Rabbi Granovsky. Zaidi. Who is Zaidi? Philip Fay.
Ari Solomon. Zaidi's Ari Solomon.
The emails just went out again, I believe, and I just put on the group.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah. Likewise.
Zaidi is Ari.
Ari Solomon.
But is that? It's like as soon as you become a Zaidi, that becomes your title. That's the end of it.
Well, when you're zooming all the time and you can't see your grandchildren, so that's how they call me.
I guess so. Yeah, my daughter's turning 14. I was like, couple just 5-6 years, we could be grandparents, you know.
5 years. That's pretty good. I was a great grandfather in 67.
Kanei Nahara. But we had my father-in-law over for Shabbos.
Or double call.
I had my father-in-law over for Shabbos, and we're like, in 5 years you could be a Saba Rabba. And he's like, I know, he freaked out a bit.
My in-laws had about 18 great-grandchildren, I think.
Kanei Nahara.
Bill Fay, I haven't seen him in Moshe Spurn. I usually see Moshe Spurn.
He's been here. He comes.
Moshe Spurn has been before.
Yeah. Him and what's his name? And Justin usually come.
And Yaakov Walk never came before.
Yaakov Walk is here.
I missed it. I missed the last two by a few minutes.
Yaakov Walk, it's so good to see you.
Hey,
Where's your father now?
my father is in Baka.
He's where?
Baka.
He's American. He didn't come yet.
Baka.
Baka.
Baka, yeah.
My best regards. Yaakov Walk's father and I
We
were
saw
friends.
him last year up north. He bumped into you up north a couple years ago.
A few times he bumped, but I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
He sent my best regards.
He's been wanting to call you, but he hasn't gotten to it.
You know what? You'll send me his phone number.
All right, yeah, I will. He has your number and email.
All right, Moshe Spurn. I don't see him. I don't see Phil Fay. I don't know who Brian is. I don't know. Who's not?
No, it's not.
Rabbi,
It's not Brian. It's just his iPhone.
Rabbi, I'm sorry about that. I'm in the middle of a few things, so I'll turn my video on soon.
Rabbi, you taking attendance?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He just wants to see faces. He just wants to see
I
the
know,
faces.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Nice. All right, we're still got a couple of minutes here. So how's everybody's 9 days? Are you having a good time?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. I told my son last week, like, I was like, next week we can't have meat. He, like, his entire face sunk, and I think that's the intended point you're supposed to get during the 9 days. So it worked.
For the right reasons. Well, as long as it's the right reasons.
How old is he?
He's 10. He's like, no meat.
Old enough.
I don't have so many great grandchildren yet, Robert Ganowski. So.
I only have one. That's all I have. I'm waiting for more, but I have one.
You only need one to get the title.
I have a granddaughter who's getting married, so in 3 weeks. We don't know where, we don't know what, but okay.
Weddings are cheap these days because of Corona.
Oh no. Oh no.
Nobody, what? No.
Oh no. These places take arm and a leg.
So you get married in your backyard. You get 10 challah rolls and 10 guys, and you're done.
They don't do that.
No.
Your daughter ain't gonna go for that, buddy.
That's the
My
problem.
sister,
Neither will your wife.
We got
hosted a
Okay,
wedding.
we ready?
to teach them about economics. All right. Brian Klumpus.
We gotta get Yaakov married. Yaakov gotta get married.
Good luck with it.
Let's go. Brought my bike out.
There we
Should we
go.
take some water?
What's your background?
My background? It's the bridge from Star Trek.
He's a part of the USS Enterprise.
I was a goofball in yeshiva. I'm a goofball now. All right.
Yeah, but it's the next generation. It's not the original.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. No,
It's goofy as it goes on. That's the problem.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. There we go. We're up to 12. Okay. Well, wait a couple minutes. Want to make sure that it's like you have to give the drush by Musaf on Shabbos. You have the most amount of people in the shul, right? so cool.
They should make it by the kid-
Rabbi Yaakov Shayevich.
they should make it by the Kiddush if that's the case.
Like Kiddush. No, but we have to get it before they go out to the Kiddush club.
Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi. How
How
are
you
you?
doing? I usually see you this time of year. I go to your house.
It's my loss.
Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi.
I wish I could see
You
you.
always tell me not to come. Always say I'm
Ben
not
Carr. This is Ben Carr's first drop-in. We
Rabbi, how are you?
Yaakov Shaiwitz, I don't see your face.
That's because my face should not be seen.
Sometimes there are blessings that you just shower upon you.
There I am, Rabbi. Look, I'm as gray as you are.
Okay.
Solomont is faking. He dyes his hair. It has to be
You
true.
were in yeshiva my second year, right? You started the second year.
84.
Second year.
When you were just a baby Rosh Hashiva.
Now I'm a grandfather of yeshiva, great grandfather.
So am I. And so is Ari. Rabbi, don't cry.
Phil Fay, I haven't seen Phil Fay in a year. Okay, Mark Schaff, I haven't seen him. Right?
Mark Schaeffel. How are we doing? 17, 16. All right, we just lost one. Guys,
Good. Anybody from my year, Rabbi, except for Ari? And he was 85.
Mark Schaff was before you.
Mark Sheffer was before me.
Hey, Akiva Fold. What year was Akiva?
Excuse me?
Hello, Akiva. Welcome.
Hello, Bron. Hello, Rebbe.
Hi, Akiva.
Mike Baslin, how you
Hello. I'm good. Well, how are you?
Ari, you couldn't wear something different?
He's a beach boy now. He lives on the beach.
Yeah, I know.
Surfing USA, no? How are you doing?
Well,
18. Okay, we're getting there. All right, well, we'll start maybe like 7, 10, so feel free to schmooze.
I'm happy to see everybody. I didn't see Moshe Spurn. I don't see Ben Carr. I don't see Brian Compass. And who fell off? And Phil Fay fell away. He fell off.
Hello, Rebbe. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
What have you been up to this
how does Phil Fay defy gravity?
Phil Fay, you're sideways. But it's okay. Haven't seen when last time I saw you. Where you living? It's a place in Atlanta, right?
Is that better?
Somebody's on Hatzalah.
See your face, but
Oh, wow.
you're
Yeah,
far away.
it's unfortunately a good season for Atzala.
Unfortunately.
They
Whoa.
don't call it a good season, I'm sure.
Avi Weberman.
Avi Weberman.
Where?
Where's Avi Weberman? You there?
I just saw in the
I'm back. I left for a second because I was having audio issues.
Baltimore Lewins.
Avi Weberman. One time I saw his grandfather on YouTube.
I'm here, but I've got the kids in the backyard, so I'm gonna mute myself most of the time.
So Avi Weberman, I saw your grandfather on YouTube. We were talking about the Rebbe. Very nice. See that YouTube thing? Did you see that video of your grandfather on YouTube?
Which video are you referencing?
I don't remember. He was going to Miami for the first time or something.
Where he's talking about? I'm saying where he's talking about speaking to the Rebbe, or?
Yeah, we spoke to the Rebbe. Yeah.
Why does Yaakov walk look like he's in the witness protection program with no light?
That's because that's how Yaakov does everything.
Walks.
Pretty much.
What year were you?
2005, 2006. Or
Oh my gosh, Rebbe, 2005? Mark Schaffel and I should be on senior, senior citizen stuff.
You are. So am I.
Avi Weberman was actually my roommate.
Oh my God.
Rebbe, you were 28 when you were my Rebbe.
I was 91, 92.
And I'm older than 28 now. It's
You were 28 when I came to our David.
40
Who
years
said that?
Mark.
Mark Schaffel.
Wait, so what year was that then?
Bearpick.
82.
It was the first year.
Oh, okay, Rebbe. So you were still
second year.
Okay.
I'm the
That's
second
right.
year. Marty Levine
Brian
was
Kaplan
the first
was with
year.
you? Was Brian Kaplan with you, Mark?
Yes, Brian Kaplan was with me. He was my roommate,
Okay.
actually.
Right. Oh, he told me the horror stories about you.
I see names. I don't
Brian Kaplan's not that much older than us. He couldn't have been 82.
He was 82. He's a year or two older than I am. Ari, you and I are both what, 53? I'm 53. Mark, what are you, 55?
I just turned 56. But Ari a few years ago became my relative.
What?
It's 39 plus tax, guys.
We're all puzzle this here somehow.
Ari and I are both related to Aberman.
Mark Schaffel said that?
Yes.
Yes.
How are you related to Aberman? I didn't realize I'd said because of relatives.
My mother and Ruby Aberman, Zichrona Livracha, were first cousins.
Really? Huh.
When I was in Israel in January, I went to see Chayalea.
The last time I saw Aberman, he was the shiva for his granddaughter.
Oy vey.
His granddaughter or his daughter-in-law?
Right, daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law.
I'm related to the family.
Yeah, Avrami was married to a well.
My nephew was a well.
All right, some kid's crying. It must be yeshiva time.
That's right. Welcome, Yaakov.
Who said that?
I said. Yaakov Lieber.
Let's see.
Oh, thank you.
I don't see Yoel. I don't see Akiva. I don't see Brian.
I'm just watching.
Yep, just switch pages.
I'm Jewish geography now.
But I don't see you.
It's like Jewish geography.
I don't see you. Now I see him.
Ari, what do you expect? We're all connected. You're the only friend I have here. Oh, there's Vuk. Vuk.
Yeah. I'm here.
Vuk, look at that. You're as gray as I am. Oh my God, you're old.
Yeah, what
is as young as you feel. I'm 100.
Rebbe, look at that. I have. Rebbe, look what you did to us in yeshiva. You made us all gray. Even Mike Baslon's going gray.
I made myself the grayest. What do you want?
Consider the alternative.
My neighbor down the block who makes me gray.
Oh, I'm going to tell you who actually said that.
I mean, it's not fair. Everyone, you have to grow your beard now, so it's not fair that everyone has to show the gray.
Rebbe, did you realize that Mike Baslon and I live between Yehuda Oratz, the grandson of Tzaddik Rebbe Ephraim Oratz, who taught me?
I knew that he lived around there. Yes.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing, right, Ari? He was amazing, Rebbe.
Yeah, those were. I don't think we realized that we were too young and immature to realize it.
No.
You there, Deborah?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Well, I could say that we're no longer young, but as far as maturity goes, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Deborah?
I'm here. I don't understand.
I don't see his face.
You hear a Zoom call also? Did you call from Earth?
I don't see his face.
What?
You hear it? Like,
Where are you, in your office?
No, I can't hear you. There's something going on in the background.
Right.
John, we can hear your conversation.
Yeah, come on, people. Keep it kosher. Winter Shine froze.
Do we start? Whoever's here is here, and whoever's not even.
Yeah, let's do it.
Rebbe, is that Yossi Kari at the bottom?
Yes, I know where he is, but he's there.
I'm gonna mute everybody except for Organovsky.
All right, people.
What does that mean?
You're on.
Where'd you go? Oh, he's got on mute. Oh.
Yeah, Rebbe, unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself.
All right.
There you go. Okay.
I want to share an idea that.
Sure, the sugar, the color. I don't know. For right now, I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. But
All right, guys, please mute yourself and let's get started.
River Phil Zaks, who spoke to Yeshiva David many times, was the Rashiva in Hebron for many years. He opened his own yeshiva in Kiryat Sefer, Gedola, and he shared an idea with the David guys many years ago. And I want to share it with you. It's a very, very powerful idea. Medrash says, Eicha Yoshva. Three gave a nevuah with Lashon Eisha. And we read two of the Shabbos. Moshe and Shayahu, we read the Shabbos. Yirmiyahu. And Yirmiyahu we're going to read Thursday, unless Mashiach comes before. Moshe Amar, Eicha Esa Levadi. Moshe said, how can I bear myself all the people?
talking about.
Shayahu says, Eicha Haisha Lezona. How did Yerushalayim become a zona, a woman of little repute? And Yirmiyahu is Esa Yasham Badad. How we Yerushalayim become a city all alone. Now we're in Israel, we have this thing called bidud. When you get sick, it's called isolation. And Yerushalayim is badad. Amar Rabbi Levi. Rabbi Levi said, we had three officers. Echad Ro also b'shalhu. So one saw the woman when she was b'shalhu, was very good and content. Echad Ro b'chuzus. So one saw her when she was going wild, chuzus. Echad Ro b'nivusa. One saw her when she was in the nivola. She was disgusting. So the question is, Rav Hill asked the question. Echad appears many times in the Navi. Why is Moshe Rabbeinu one of the three? What's the Avelus of Moshe Rabbeinu? Obviously, Shayahu is Avelus because Shayahu says, "Eicha Eisha Lezona." She becomes Zona. She becomes a woman of low repute. He had no restrictions. He went wild, right? And Yirmiyahu was Eisha Yashma Badad. Yerushalayim becomes a lonely city, an isolated city. But what does Moshe Rabbeinu have to do? What's the Eicha? Why is it coupled with these three Eichas? There's no Churban over here. Mishavasa, it was a good time for Klal Yisrael. It's right before going there to Yisrael. Why is it one of the three Nevi'im that was Lashon Eicha that has to do with the Churban, has nothing to do with the Churban. So Rav Hill said a Gevaldig Pshat. If you look in the Psukim, in the Rashi says, right afterwards, it says the son of Osi. He says, when Moshe Rabbeinu said we're going to split into Sarim, V'tova Dover. He says, Rashi says, the son of Osi, Chladatem, I said, we decided the matter, L'hanoschem, because it was good for you. You should have said when you heard the idea, Moshe Rabbeinu, who's it better to learn from you or your Talmidim? In other words, you decided that's a great idea, and it was a good idea. In fact, Yisro gets praised for the idea. But Rav said an interesting thing. It's a good idea. It's a good method. But it was Israel's a guy, and he doesn't know what Talmud Torah is. In Talmud Torah, to say we need Tov Lilmod, in other words, if you don't, the better the connection is with the Rebbe, the more the connection with the Rebbe, the better the Talmud Torah is. And that's the beginning of the Churban. The beginning of the Churban, very powerful. The beginning of the Churban is the people are a little less connected. You know, the Beis Hamikdash, Ramban says, the Beis Hamikdash is comparable to Maimon Har Sinai. In other words, you walk in the Beis Hamikdash, you felt like Maimon Har Sinai. That was the greatest connection. In fact, the Sanhedrin is right near the Beis Hamikdash. It's right near the Kodesh Kodashim. It's what Sanhedrin is. Because Liman Torah is our connection also to Hashem. So the Maimon Har Sinai is our connection. Beis Hamikdash is our connection. Liman Torah is. And if Liman Torah is weakened, if it's not the same, if it's not as good, it's not the same Liman Torah. And that's the beginning of the Churban. We don't want to connect with our Rebbeim. We don't want to connect with our Gedolim. That's the beginning of the Churban. The beginning of the Churban exists when the connection is weakened. You decided for your own hana, for your own benefit. You didn't decide because it was the best thing for you. You should have said, Rebbeinu Moshe, we should always say this to ourselves. How can I get to learn better? How can I learn better? How can I get more involved in learning? If I can connect more to the Rebbe, I have a better Rebbe to connect with, that's what I should be doing. And if I'm weakening myself in that connection, that's the beginning of the Churban. Very, very powerful words. And interesting, Rav Gamliel, we have a certain connection with Rav Gamliel Rabinovich, famous Makubal. And he said an interesting thing. He says, part of our problem today is we don't feel the galus. We have comfortable lives. There's no pogroms. People are not after us. I mean, a little bit in America, you had some problems a little bit lately, but it wasn't so bad. He says, part of the problem is we don't feel it. And he says, in the old days, they felt it. But the truth is, the reason that we want a gula, we all want a gula because it'd be easier. It's not the reason we want the gula. We want the gula because we want the Shibboleth Shalom's glory to be seen by everybody. We want everybody to realize who Hashem is. Hashem, as we say in the Tfilas Musaf, Hashem should appear before us in front of everybody. And part of our problem is we're too comfortable like it is. We don't really feel the tzara shechina. We don't really feel the tzara shechina. And part of our job now, these days, say, Rebbeinu Shalom, I want you back. I want to feel you. I want everybody to see you. And I want to connect to you and to your Torah. And that's what really the point over here is. If we connect a little less, we're not connecting properly. Our whole that's the beginning of the Churban. And the Churban is Tisha B'Av has been a bad day from the beginning. The Meraglim came back from their visiting to Eretz Yisrael. We'll never get Eretz Yisrael. That's the beginning. And Hashem says, "You cry for nothing. You cry for nothing. You'll have a good reason to cry in this day." And the Rambam mentions the 5 things that happened, and they're all bad things. Maybe I'll remind you what one thing I said, and it's also a very powerful idea. The Rambam mentions 5 things. Both the Meraglim came back. Both Batei Mikdashim were destroyed. Beitar, the rebellion of Beitar was finished on them. And the last thing he mentions, and he lets out a kvetch, he says, this day that was set aside for bad things, Tunis Rufus Russia is Chorish the Makam Amigdash, Lakaim Mashanemer, Tzil be plowed like a field. So I heard once on Tisha B'Av night Dafka from Moshe Shapiro, and I told the Peshat before, but it's very, very powerful Peshat also. And he says, what exactly was Tunis Rufus such a big deal? Or the Rambam has to fetch. Rambam has to fetch and say, Yoma, Muchan the Pranay. Okay, he plowed the Makkah Mikdash. Mikdash was destroyed 100 years before that. Beitar was a rebellion in Beitar that was destroyed. There was a rebellion against Rome. Here he plowed the Mikdash, no big deal. He said a Gaval Gavard. So what was Tunis Rufus doing? He said that the Gemara says it's low Avraham, Shakari Lehar. Avraham brings the Akedah. He calls it Har Maria. He said, look, Avraham, it's not a har like Avraham said. Yitzchak was lasuch b'sadeh, Kiyakar Sadeh. Yitzchak, before he meets his wife Rivka, he's davening in the fields, and the Har Bayis also. It's Loki Yitzchak Kiyakar Sadeh. So Har Bayis was where the Akedah was. Har Bayis is where Yitzchak is davening before he meets Rivka, and finally it's Yaakov. Yaakov sleeps that night in the Har Bayis. He has the dream of the Malachim going up and down. And he says he correlate Bayis. He calls it a house. And so Moshe Shapiro said a thing. He says a Sada and a Har, everybody comes. You don't have to. There's nothing special about what the Sada is. Nothing special with the Har, what it is. Anybody can be there. Yeah, Bayis. I don't let everybody in my house. You knock on my door. You say, "Can I come in?" Not everybody comes in. So what tradition was doing, it says, "You're Zayda." Yaakov said it's a Bayis. My Zayda was Esav. And Esav, I'm telling you, Esav says this Sada. You're not special. You have nothing special. Without the base of Migdash, without the Gilui Shechina that we're davening for, without the Shechina we're missing, we lose our specialness. And part of our Avelis and part of our Tefillas have to be that we want to bring it back. We want to bring back the Shechina and to glorify Hashem, glorify Klal Yisrael, and that's what it all is. And it all begins with our connection to Liman HaTorah. It all begins with our connection to Mimi Tov Lilmod. How can I get to learn better? How can I connect more? How can I get be more involved in this? And if we start in that direction, how can I be more involved in my learning? How can I be more connected to my learning? That's the beginning. That's the beginning of the Geula, is to realize that. I want to lead you on with an interesting part that I heard. It's the name of the Aruch HaShulchan. It's really nothing to do with this, but it has to do with the whole story. You know that the story of Hurug and Malchus, the 10 people of the Romans are very, very bad gullus. And there was 10 great tzaddikim that were killed by the Romans over a few years. And one of them was Rabbi Akiva, who was tortured to death by the Romans. We mention the story of Hurug and Malchus twice a year. We mentioned on Yom Kippur. We mentioned Yom Kippur by Musaf is to be Maores to Tshuva, what people have to go through. And we mentioned in the Kinas Tisha B'Av morning. And that's to realize that all the tzaras begin with Churban Bayis. And we mentioned this earlier Malchus, the Roman exile that we're still in was a terrible exile in the beginning. There was 300 Malchus. Aruch HaShulchan is an interesting thing, and it's a nice idea to finish with. It talks about the story in the Haggadah, right? So there was Yeshua and Rabbi Tarfon and Rabbi Akiva were sitting in Bnei Brak. They were talking at Tzis Mitzrayim. Aruch HaShulchan had a few kashas. The kashas were Bnei Brak was where Rabbi Akiva lived. It happened to be Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Tarfon where Rabbi Akiva was rebelling. And why did they come to Bnei Brak? What are they going to Bnei Brak for? What's it all about? And they should have been home with Pesach. And why did Rabbi Akiva didn't tell them? So he says a beautiful pshat. He says, the Golus of Rome was terrible. And the only person that was able to see through the Golus a little bit was Rabbi Akiva. The famous Gemara in the end of Makkas, when they saw the fox coming out of the Kochi Kochi, and they cried, Rabbi Akiva laughed. They said, Rabbi Akiva, why are you laughing? He says, why are you crying? He says, what do you mean? The Kochi Kochi is where nobody was allowed to go to the Kohen Gadol once a year, and there are foxes running through it. So he says, that's why I'm laughing, because the Navi tells us that's what's going to happen. So the Navi tells us that's what's going to happen. So the Navi tells us that Od Yisham Bari Yehuda will hear in the hills of Yerushalayim and Yehuda the singing of the Chassan Kal. That will happen also. Rabbi Akiva was able to see in the middle of the Golus, in the worst Golus, and they felt, that's what Aruch HaShulchan says, they felt by going to him on Pesach night, they'll say, just like in Mitzrayim, the Baruch Shalom took us out, they'll take us up in the worst Golus. That's the way I want to at least end this idea, is that we were in a very long Golus, 2,000 years, right? 3 Nevi'im predicted it. Was Moshe Rabbeinu was the first way before, right? Echlas Levadi. Shayahu Hanavi was 100 years before the Churban, and yet Rabbi Yirmiyah was during the Churban, and they all predicted the Churban. But the Nevi'im, Shayahu, and it predicts the Binyan Abayis also, predicts the Mashiach, predicts how it's going to end up. And that's what we have to daven for. We have to daven for. We want the Rebbeinu Shalom to come back to us, to show who he is. We want the Rebbeinu Shalom to expel it, to give us who he is. And Rabbi Akiva was able to see that in the middle of the Golus. We don't have a Rabbi Akiva anymore, but we realize that the Nevi'im are right. And it's interesting. They asked, they talk about whether I don't want to go into Zionism now. whether Israel is the Eskalta de Gula. So they asked Rabbi Lichtenstein Zatzal, and he says he doesn't know what the Gula is going to be exactly. He doesn't know what's the Eskalta. They asked Rav Chaim Kanievsky, and he says he doesn't know if it's the Eskalta de Gula yet, but for sure it's the Sofa Golos. The Sofa Golos. We're going through so many things now, and this whole time in history. I would have told you a few months ago that the whole world's going to stop and be closed down right after Purim. You wouldn't believe me, and we lived through that era. I think it's to make us ourselves aware that there's such a thing going on. I'll leave you a little part that I heard from somebody. It's a very good part. Another thing to close with. If I would tell you that there's no reason for people getting sick. There's no coronavirus. There's no COVID-19. Just people getting sick randomly. You would say I'm nuts. Of course, there has to be some kind of reason. So many people getting sick so fast all the time, all over the world. Must be something going on. And there is something going on. It's a virus that you can't even see with a regular microscope. That's creating all these things. Nobody would believe that it just happened by itself. So the Rabbi Shalom created the world, which is much more complicated than the coronavirus, and did all. It says the Rabbi Shalom in the world, the Rabbi Shalom take care of us. The Rabbi Shalom predicted the Churban, and he predicted the Gula. And Emir Hashem, this will be the last. I hope there'll be no Tisha B'Av, but if there is a Tisha B'Av, this will be the last Tisha B'Av. Somebody mentioned it the other day, an expression that Hasidim have. I never heard a Hasid say this, but he blessed somebody with a flesh ticket Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av will be celebrated by eating a steak. And Emir Hashem, Tisha B'Av will be celebrated by eating a steak. We'll finish with the 9 days. There'll be no more 9 days. There'll be no more eat steak. Your son will be happy. Everybody will be happy, and it'll be over. The we have to realize, digest that. And these days, as we approach the time of Tisha B'Av, let's digest it and say, we did it enough. We want your glory. It's not for us. It's for you. It's for your glory. And the Mitzvah, if we do that and do it the right time and the right way, it'll happen. It's interesting with Yaakov Emden, the famous Rabbi Yaakov said that it's the reason that the Mashiach didn't come yet, because we don't really want the Gula. And a part of it is we really have to want the Gula. We have to say, Rebbeinu Shalom, we did enough, we suffered enough. It's time for you to show who you are. And I bless everybody that will see the Gula very soon. I'm glad everybody came. Some people I would see over the summer, and I wouldn't see you over the summer. But this summer, I'm not going anywhere. This little virus closed us down. Baruch Hashem, we can join each other like this.
Shkayach.
Thank you. Shkayach Rabbi. Shkayach Rabbi. Have it
Rabbi
easy and
Ganowski,
meaningful fast.
Rabbi Ganowski, was the Rabbi Jacques that you quoted at the beginning, was he the Rabbi Jacques whose mother was the Chafetz Chaim's daughter?
Yes. And in fact, when we were in Yishronim, by his brother that lived right around there.
So you'll have to remind me to tell you the story when George Heim and I had Purim Suda with him.
Not with him, with his brother probably.
No, with him. And the Chafetz Chaim's daughter was there. Miss Rebinson Zaks was there.
Must have been a long time ago.
It was 85, so it was a long time ago. So his son, Ari, I think, lived in. His son lived in what do they call them? The egg crate apartments across the way. Ari.
Bowling. That's where Rabbi Gronsky lived.
That's his nephew. I used to live there also, right? That's his nephew. That's what they call it.
Nephew.
That's Rav Zach's brother.
Okay.
If you guys are interested, if you drive to Bnei Brak, just before you get there, there's a place called Misubin, which is where the historical Bnei Brak, where the story took place. So it's actually marked down. It's very interesting. So
well, that's what they call Misubin because it's
on Misubin, yeah.
The Purim that we went to was in Kiryat Sanz. Whoever was living in Kiryat Sanz.
Bill Zach's brother.
Wow.
So I'll tell you that story another time. All right. Have a good day. Have a meaningful fast, everyone. Nice to see you. Thanks for putting this together. We're gonna
Rabbi Buell.
Meaningful feast. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Joey, please.
Rabbi Buell, have an easy and meaningful fast, Rabbi.
Have a pleasure at Tisha B'Av, everyone. Be well.
Ryan Compass, I didn't see him.
Some people don't have. Some people don't have.
Time of the year routine, right?
Some people don't have cameras, or are too shy. One of the two.
Rebbe, was that Yossi Kadi?
I usually see the Baltimore Moose this time of the year also, and he's not there. Moshe Spring, you finally showed up.
Sorry, I'm doing some work around the
Moses
house.
Stern was there
Sorry.
for most of it. He was just hiding.
How's my friend over there?
Thanks, Barbara Ben.
Ben Carr's also hiding. Let's see
That's
who
right.
else.
What's the split
Efron
here?
was here, but he was hiding too.
About half.
Okay, I gotta go. I've got a meeting.
Take care. Is it like
Meeting on a
half people
Sunday.
here in Israel, half are in the
Praise
States?
Hashem, we'll do this again before Elul. Talk about Elul.
Ezra Hashem.
I heard.
Everybody.
It won't be necessary to do it again, Raphael. We'll be with you, Rebbe.
Alavai, Alavai.
Oh, amen, amen.
Amen.
How
Amen.
you doing? Baltimore Lewins.
Hi.
How you doing?
How's Rebbe?
I'm doing great, Baruch Hashem. I usually see you. I usually see. I would definitely see Tzvi Grossman. I would see
Yeah.
my summer trip. My cousin, I go to Baltimore every summer. Try to recruit there.
I think
They're gonna let people in, but we don't know all the rules yet.
I think we're all missing a very good point here. Is that baseball is back finally? And I think that's a really important thing, especially Baltimoreans.
Go Mets.
Mets. Ugh. I'm sorry I brought up the subject.
My father's a Red Sox fan.
Look, we can't all be perfect.
Oh, yeah. You have to be careful. My father and Rabbi Karnowski were classmates.
Okay.
Rebbe,
Back in the YU days.
Who are you?
Victor Shine here. My father's first yard sign is Shabbos Nachum, Bo Bayom.
Oh,
Nice.
my this year or
Yeah.
every year? It can be every year.
You remember my father?
Sure.
Okay, good man.
I remember when your parents came. I was living, and they came to visit my house from remote Poland.
Yeah? Nosson Ben Yaakov.
Okay. This year Shabbos Nachnu.
Yeah? Yud Aleph.
Can't be every